Do you constantly see people online talking about romanticizing your life and you're like, Rebecca, how on earth do I do that? I want to romanticize my life. I want to make my life feel like a cute little movie where everything is cute and fun and romanticized. If that is you, then you are listening to the right podcast today and every day. I feel like the Hot Girl Guide is always a good podcast to listen to hype you up, to get a fresh perspective, a new mindset. If you're feeling a bit low, you can just turn it on and listen to me give you unsolicited advice for about 30 minutes. And why wouldn't you want to do that? You know what I mean? Don't forget to follow the podcast and rate it. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to a new episode of the Hot Girl Guide podcast. My name is Rebecca Short and I'm here today to talk all things romanticizing your life. Because as a girly who is a lover girl at heart, who is such a big romantic and who firmly believes in romanticizing your life as much as possible, I think it's just my duty to let you know how you can do that too. Because I'm not out here trying to keep all the secrets for myself. I'm not out here trying to gatekeep romanticizing your life. I think everyone should do it. I think people should do it more. So I'm here today to help you do it. First of all, I just want to touch on what romanticizing your life actually is, because maybe some of you listening aren't familiar with the term, maybe you've never done it before, maybe you're confused as to what it is. So in my humble opinion, romanticizing your life is making the small things fun. Romanticizing your life is looking at your life and the little things that happen in a day-to-day basis through rose-colored glasses. Romanticizing your life is thinking of yourself as the main character in your own little rom-com romantic movie. Do you know what I mean? I'm a lover girl at heart. So I'm out here romanticizing everything and everyone to my detriment sometimes, I will say that. But I think when it comes to your life as a whole, you're better off trying to romanticize it than the latter. The whole purpose of romanticizing your life for me, it comes from the idea that life is made in the day-to-day. Life is made in the mundane. Of course, there will be amazing, massive, huge, exciting things that happen in your life. But those things are like little milestones. You're not going to wake up every single day with a new massive milestone every single day, because then your life wouldn't be exciting, because you'd get used to all the milestones. Some days are going to be good, some days are going to be bad, some days are going to be mediocre. But when it comes to romanticizing your life, it's so you have those little pockets of goodness and romance in those little moments in your days that are more mundane. Whether it's getting up and having your morning coffee and like setting up a little flower and putting on jazz music, all these things. That's what romanticizing your life is. It's about doing little things so that the little things seem more fun. It's about waking up and making your favorite breakfast and playing your favorite music. If you think about a movie, when you're watching a movie, the main character, what does the main character do throughout their day that makes the little things that they're doing movie worthy? If you think of your life as a little movie, that's how I like to romanticize my life. I think of my life as a little movie. When I'm going for my shower, I have like a shower playlist that I play. I have these lights in my shower that I play. When I'm in the shower, I'm like visualizing all the negative energy going off my body. So it's like romanticizing my shower, romanticizing my breakfast, romanticizing going for a little walk. When I go for a little walk, I put in my headphones and I put on a really good playlist, or I put on a really good podcast, or I put on an audiobook, and I'm present in the moment and I'm intentional. Of course, that doesn't happen every single day. Some days I wake up and I feel awful and I'm just out here trying to get through the day. You know what I mean? I'm just out here trying to have a day. Not a good day, not a bad day, not a mundane day, not a romanticized day, a day. But I think the more you romanticize your life, the more naturally it will come to you. Like, I think a lot of things I do in my day-to-day right now are me romanticizing my life because it comes quite naturally to me, but it didn't always. And that's the thing about any habit. Your brain has repetitive thoughts all the time. Like most things you do all the time, you're on autopilot. You're doing it because it's how you've always done it. So if you're going to start changing that and start romanticizing your life, obviously it's not really going to be easy at the start, but nothing worth it is. Like if you want to start anything new in life, it's not necessarily easy. So that is the first point to romanticizing your life. It's like it's all about making the mundane things fun. It's all about when you do have your breakfast or your morning coffee or whatever, that you make an effort to turn on your favorite playlist, or you make an effort to sit there with your coffee and like read something that you enjoy or watch a series that you enjoy. Or it's romanticizing isn't this big dramatic thing. It's just about doing the little things you do every day in a way that you'll enjoy them more. It's more about implementing whatever it is you enjoy more. You know, romanticizing your life could be waking up and journaling like everything you're grateful for, you know, and talking about everything you're excited for the day. Like romanticizing your life isn't this big dramatic thing that is so unattainable and unachievable. It's literally just doing the things you do every day, but doing them through a lens of I get to do this as opposed to I have to do this. So when you're going through life, when you're romanticizing life, the main block and the main barrier that you will come across when you're trying to romanticize your life is comparing your version of life to someone else's. Because how on earth can you romanticize your little morning walk in your small town and you're looking at the sky and it's not really busy and there's not a lot of people out and you don't see that many people, but you're having a great time. You know, you're walking to your local shop and you're getting your coffee and, you know, you're saying hi to the cashier that you've known for years. How can you romanticize your cute little small town life if you're out here comparing your morning to someone's morning who's living in New York City or Dubai or Sydney or Rio de Janeiro, whatever main city around the world? You're not going to be able to romanticize your little small town morning if you're constantly comparing your life to other people's lives that you don't have. If you're comparing your life to anyone's ever, you're not going to be able to romanticize your own life, because the whole key to romanticizing your life is looking at the life that you have and making the best of that. And of course, you can look at someone's morning in New York as inspiration. You know, you can say, someday I'm going to live in New York and I'm going to wake up to the big city and it's going to be so loud and it's going to be so busy, and I'm going to walk to my local bakery and they're going to have fresh produce and everyone's going to be there and it's going to be so exciting. Of course, you can use that as a goal if that's something you want to do. And when you're there, of course, you can romanticize it that way. But if you're constantly being like, oh, I woke up and it's another day in my small town and nothing's happening and it's not busy and I can't do this and I can't do that, you're not going to be able to romanticize your life, because you're focusing on everything that you don't have. You're focusing on the lack of it all. And I think the main component of romanticizing your life is gratitude. Because if you're not grateful for the moment that you're in, if you're not grateful for the place that you're in, if you're not grateful for your surroundings, you're not going to be able to romanticize them, because you're not grateful for them in the first place. So before we even get into being romantic about our lives, we need to be grateful for our lives. We need to be grateful for the location and where we woke up and our lives on a day-to-day. Of course, you can be grateful for your life and want to change it. You can be grateful for your life and want better for yourself, or want to live in a different location or want a different situation. But the whole thing with romanticizing is that you're grateful for the moment that you're in. So then when you're romanticizing it, you're emitting love. And if you're thinking of your life through a lens of romance, then you're thinking of your life through a lens of love. And you're like, oh my God, I love waking up in the morning and I love my morning routine and I love this and I love that. Then you're vibrating at a higher frequency, because love is the highest frequency there is, right? So when you're vibrating at that higher frequency and romanticizing your life, it's easier to romanticize your day as you're going throughout it, because you're not looking outward and looking at better lives or lives that you deem better than yours and wishing that you had them. You're in the moment being grateful for your own life and romanticizing that instead. So don't forget, when it comes to romanticizing your life, comparison is the thief of joy. I will say it again and again and again because it's so applicable to so many different scenarios in life. Comparison is the thief of joy. Like, when it comes to your life, when it comes to romanticizing your life, when it comes to your confidence, when it comes to your looks, it all circles back to if you're looking externally all the time and comparing what you don't have to your idealized version of someone else's life, you're not going to be able to romanticize your life. So we need to cut the comparison. We need to get rid of it. We need to say hasta la vista to the comparison mindset. When I talk about romanticizing my life, I think a big reason I do it is because when I'm romanticizing my life, whether it's a little more mundane, whether there's not a lot going on, whether it's a really exciting day or a really stressful day or a really busy day, if I'm romanticizing my life, it's giving me more of a sense of purpose, right? Because when you're romanticizing something so small as drinking a cup of coffee or doing some work or visiting a friend or going for a shower, you feel more of a sense of purpose in life. And having a purpose in life makes life feel more fun. And I think making life feel more fun and romanticizing your life actually go hand in hand, because you're doing all these little things that you've always done, but you're like making some romance out of it. You know, you're adding in a sprinkle of your favorite music in the background, or you're adding in buying yourself your favorite flowers in the background, or you're adding in treating yourself to your favorite dinner. All these little things are how you romanticize your life, right? But they're also how you make your life on the day-to-day more fun. And the more fun that you have on a day-to-day, the happier you are. Now, of course, some days you wake up and you're not happy, right? But on those days, I wake up, okay, take an example. I wake up, I'm in my luteal phase, my period is about a week away. I look in the mirror, my face is swollen. It is retaining so much water. I'm so tired. I probably had a bad sleep. All I want to do is probably get into bed and wear comfy clothes. But I will romanticize my life by putting some ice globes in the freezer. So I will do a little face massage. I will take an extra 10 minutes to do something that I know makes me feel good. And that's essentially romanticizing your life. It can sound tiring because it's like, okay, but when I wake up and I feel shit, the last thing I want to do is massage my face, or the last thing I want to do is think about how can I romanticize my day to day. But I think the thing is, if you're in the habit of romanticizing your life on a day to day when you're in a good mood, on the days that you're in a bad mood, or that your hormones have dipped if you're a woman, or that you wake up and you get really shitty news, you'll know, like your brain will tell you, hold on. Like on the first day of my period, for example, I put my phone away, I sit down and I do my hair and my makeup for an hour, 2 hours, whatever. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, okay, on the first day of your period, are you even going anywhere? Like all you want to do is lie on the couch. Your cramps are so bad, whatever. But for me, that's a way I found to romanticize the first day of my period, because I make myself look good and I make myself feel good, because then if I have really bad cramps and I'm bloated and my face is swollen and whatever else goes along with it, if I can sit and like do my hair and makeup and put on a cute outfit, then I'm like, okay, but I feel good because I look good externally. Is that superficial? Maybe. But it's a way I have found to romanticize the first day of my period. So now the first day of my period, all the time, I know I'm putting on my favorite playlist. I'm sitting down, I'm doing my skincare, I'm doing my hair, I'm doing my makeup. I'm taking that hour or 2 hours or 30 minutes, depending on my day, for me. And I can sit back and relax and enjoy that. And that's a little way that I like to romanticize my life on days where I don't feel as good as on days when I can wake up and the birds are singing and the sky is blue and I got a really good news and maybe a cute good morning text and everything's great, and it's so easy to romanticize your life on those days. But there's days where you're not going to feel that. But if you have these little routines in place, then you're going to feel better. I think a lot of times people misunderstand the idea of romanticizing your life. Romanticizing your life doesn't mean you're not going to have a bad day. Romanticizing your life doesn't mean that you're not going to sit on your bed and blare Taylor Swift and bawl crying. Romanticizing your life doesn't mean that stressful things aren't going to happen around you, in your life, in your family, in your relationships, and around the world. Romanticizing your life means that when you are doing something, that you can turn it around, that you have the willpower, that you have the knowledge, that you have the tools to take a step back and turn it around. And some days you won't be able to do that because we're not supposed to romanticize our life every single day. I try. I think there's moments in my day every single day where I romanticize my life or do something cute, or I buy myself flowers or my favorite chocolate, or, you know, I sit and read my book and I play really nice music, or I dress my bed and I put all my fluffy blankets on it and I get in and I get real cozy. Like, there are, of course, little moments in my day every day where I try to romanticize my life, but sometimes I have bad days for 3 days straight. And there is not 1 ounce of romanticizing happening, but that's fine. And I think it's less about romanticizing your life every single day, and it's more about realizing, wait, I haven't taken time for myself in a minute. Because that's what romanticizing your life is at the end of the day, is taking the time to romanticize your life in the way you like to. So it's taking a break, taking a beat, taking a step back, and finding the balance to prioritize the things that you enjoy in your day-to-day life. Not the things that you think you should enjoy, not the things that your friends enjoy, not the things that would make you a good employee or a good daughter or a good son or a good brother or sister or a good friend or a good person in someone's life. It's none of that. It's about, how do I like to spend my time? How do I like to eat my breakfast? How do I like to sit and read a book? How do I like to do my makeup? How do I like to go for a walk? How do I like to travel? When I'm traveling, when I'm going through an airport, I am romanticizing the shit out of my life. I'm walking through the airport, I'm playing my favorite music, I feel good, I'm in an outfit that like makes me feel cozy and makes me feel confident. I'm spraying like a really nice perfume on myself. I'm getting myself a cute little drink. I'm buying myself a new book at the airport. It's about all these little habits and routines that you put in place so that when you're doing something, you're doing it and feeling really, really good. Like, that's why I always say I love traveling alone, because I've been able to romanticize the idea of traveling. Whereas whether I'm going on a 30-minute flight to Dublin or a 7-hour flight to Dubai, I am romanticizing that journey. I'm having my little skincare in my bag. I'm having my hand creams. And I know a lot of what I'm saying sounds quite materialistic or capitalistic, but I'm a Taurus. I like my comforts. I like looking good. I like smelling good. I like feeling good. For you, it could be totally different. For you, it could be meditating 10 minutes before you leave the house. For you, it could be anything. For you, it could be like, romanticizing your life can be so small as making sure you're hydrated at all times so you don't get stressed out. Like, romanticizing your life isn't this big, grand gesture, because when it comes to romance, when it comes to love, everyone has different love languages, right? So if you think about your love language, whether it's physical touch or words of affirmation or whatever, then you flip it and you say, okay, what's my love language to myself? How do I like to show myself love? Do I like smelling good? Do I like doing my makeup and having red lipstick on? Do I like wearing clothes that are really cozy and comfy on me or make me feel good? Do I like always having like a nice podcast on or nice music on? Like, how do I enjoy showing myself love? And then when you figure out how you enjoy showing yourself love, then you can romanticize your life more, because love is romance, right? So if you're showing yourself love in the way that you like to be loved by yourself, then you're romanticizing your life. At the end of the day, when it comes to romanticizing your life, you have to master romanticizing yourself first. So if you have a really low self-esteem and you look at yourself and you constantly put yourself down and you give yourself so much negative self-talk and you don't think you're good enough, you don't think you're smart enough, you don't think you're pretty enough, you don't think you deserve to have certain opportunities, you're full of imposter syndrome, whatever it is, if you can't get to the point where you can romanticize yourself, where you can look at yourself and be confident in the way you act, in your job, in your day-to-day life, in how you look, in how you present yourself to the world, in the opportunities that you have, in your friendships, in your relationships, you're not going to be able to romanticize your life because you're the main character in your life, right? That's just how it is. You're the one experiencing life through your lens. No one else is the main character in your life because no one is experiencing, you're the only one experiencing your life, if that makes sense. So if you're the only one experiencing your life, if you're the main character, if you can't raise your self-esteem and raise your self-concept and view yourself through a positive lens, you're not going to be able to romanticize your life. And that's why I am so passionate about confidence. That is why I wrote an entire ebook on confidence that will be linked in the show notes. I'm not promoting it, I'm just saying it's called Be Your Own Biggest Fan. Everything circles back to confidence in yourself. Everything circles back to your own self-concept. And I think people get ahead of themselves and they think, I can't romanticize my life. I see all these people talking about romanticizing your life, yada, yada, yada. But it's like, if you don't have the bare minimum down of like working on your confidence and working on your self-concept and working on how you think about yourself, how you talk to yourself, what you say about yourself, you're not going to be able to romanticize your life. And I think sometimes that's not an easy sell, right? And one thing about me is I'm going to give you a harsh truth every now and again. When it comes to romanticizing your life, when it comes to manifestation, when it comes to calling in an opportunity for yourself, when it comes to any of these bigger things in life, if you don't have confidence in yourself down, and that's a skill, by the way. I've done episodes on confidence in this podcast. You can go find them. I'm going to do an updated one soon. But if you don't have confidence in yourself, in your abilities, in the rooms you walk into, in the opportunities you get, in your friendships, in your relationships, you're not going to be able to do the bigger things, such as manifest a certain life for yourself, such as romanticize the current life you have, because how could you? You're stuck in a loop of talking to yourself in a negative way. You're stuck in a loop of viewing yourself in a negative way. You've such a low self-concept that the idea of romanticizing your life is so foreign to you, because how could you romanticize your life if you can't even romanticize yourself? How can you romanticize your life if you can't even look in the mirror and be like, oh my God, you look so good today. Oh my God, that idea you had was so good. Oh my God, that presentation at work was so fire. Oh my God, this opportunity that you have coming, like you are so equipped for this. And of course, none of these things come naturally. I'm not saying you're going to close this podcast and wake up tomorrow and be able to look at yourself in the mirror and say all these nice things. But I think a lot of people forget that whether it's romanticizing yourself or romanticizing your life, it's not something that happens overnight. It's not something that happens after listening to one single podcast. It is something that you consistently have to put work into. And even me, the queen of romanticizing herself, the queen of romanticizing her life, the queen of positivity. So many people in my life say, you're so good at being positive, you're so good at viewing things in a romanticizing way, you're so good at like hyping yourself up. Even me, I have days and weeks and periods of time where I genuinely cannot romanticize myself, and I genuinely cannot romanticize my life, and I genuinely cannot look in the mirror and say one good thing. But the thing is, I know that that will pass. I know that I'm sad because of a certain situation, or I know that my hormones are dipping because I'm tracking my period, or I know that I'm just going through a low period of life. But I do have the tools to regain that confidence and to regain that self-concept. And when I become aware of the loop that I've been stuck in, I can try pull myself out of it. It takes just as much work for me to pull myself out of the loop than it will take you to get the habit going, because everything is a habit in this life. How you talk to yourself, how you look at yourself, how you view your life, it is all habit. If you put two people in a room, right, one leans more positive and has done self-concept work and, really works on their mindset and really works on how they view themselves and they view their life. You put that person in a room with someone who doesn't do that, and you give them both the same bad situation, one of them will view it as less bad than the other. And that doesn't make the situation any less bad or any more good. It's perspective. And of course, there are so many things that are happening in the world that you can't romanticize and that you could never romanticize. And I'm not asking you to romanticize traumatic events that happen in your life or devastate. Like, no one's out here romanticizing a breakup. Do you know what I mean? Even though, to be fair, I probably could. But no one's romanticizing a breakup. No one's romanticizing a really sad or stressful or traumatic event that's happening in their life, because you're not supposed to romanticize those things. You're supposed to deal with the sadness and the emotion that comes with those things. I'm talking about romanticizing your breakfast. I'm talking about romanticizing your morning walk. I'm talking about romanticizing when you're home alone on a Saturday night and none of your friends are around and you're in bed watching a movie. Those are the things I'm talking about romanticizing, the day-to-day mundane things in your life. I'm not out here telling you to romanticize something that shouldn't be romanticized. So I just want to put that out there. But yeah, at the end of the day, everything is habit. So you're not going to wake up tomorrow and romanticize every part of your day, but maybe you'll write down a list of some things you could do to start romanticizing your life, whether it's buying yourself your favorite dinner once a week, whether it's buying yourself flowers because your boyfriend hasn't done it in 6 months. There are little things that you can start doing today to romanticize your life, and then the more little things you start doing on a day-to-day, the more it'll become a habit. So I hope that helps. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. I would love if you followed the podcast, if you gave a little rating, if you answered the poll that I'll have below or the little question box. And I will see you in the next episode of the Hot Girl Guide podcast. Goodbye.